Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really tearing into the source material you shared on acquisition as a growth strategy. We often think about growth as this, well, this slow and steady climb, building it up, customer by customer.
Right, the organic way.
Exactly. But your materials suggest a different route, a potentially much faster path, strategic acquisitions. They paint it as this sort of powerful shortcut. You get scale, market share, new capabilities.
Instantly.
Yeah, an instant customer base, a talented workforce ready to go, maybe some proven tech or IP.
It sounds incredibly appealing, doesn't it?
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost too good to be true, perhaps.
And that's exactly where the sources pump the brakes a little.
Yeah.
While that promise is definitely there, the path itself, well, your guide calls it fraught with complexity and risk.
Right. So not quite a simple shortcut, then.
Not at all. It's not just, buying a company. It's about finding the right one for the right reasons. So this deep dive, using your guide, it's about building a framework, really. How to spot that target, how to value it properly, and structure a deal that actually sets you up for, well, long-term success.
So getting the foundations right before you jump in.
Precisely. Understanding the nuances first.
Okay, so with that potential in mind, where do we start? Your sources say the first step isn't looking out, it's looking in.
That's right. They really emphasize this. Rushing out to buy just any business, that's a huge pitfall mentioned.
So define your goals first. Know your gaps.
Absolutely. Picture that ideal target profile. Why are you actually buying? What problem does it solve for you?
Makes sense.
Yeah. And the guide suggests many failed acquisitions. They stumble right here. No clear strategic filter.
What else do you need clarity on internally?
Well, budget, obviously.
Yeah.
But also critically what the source calls your integration capacity.
Integration capacity, meaning?
Meaning, can your organization realistically absorb and merge this new entity effectively? If not, you might just be buying problems.
Okay, so it has to be an extension of your strategy.
Exactly. Not just bolting on another piece.
Right. Once you have that internal clarity, then you start the hunt. Your sources say cast a wide net.
Through brokers, networks, sometimes even approaching companies not officially for sale.
A proactive approach.
Yes. And then comes the really rigorous part, screening.
Okay.
Your guide is clear. Don't just jump at the first shining object. You do initial reviews against your criteria. Then you sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements.
To get the confidential info.
Right. And do that initial financial analysis before any formal offer. The sources highlight this as a huge time and resource saver.
So weed out the mismatches early on.
Exactly.
All right, let's say you found potential targets. They passed the initial screen. Now the big one, valuation. Pinning down the true value. Your guide calls it both an art and a science.
It really is. And our sources break down a few key methods. There's the asset-based approach, looking at tangible and intangible assets.
Like property, equipment, brand value.
Correct. Then there are market-based comparisons, often using what they call multiples of earnings.
Okay, so comparing it to similar deals, seeing what multiple of profit or revenue they sold for.
You got it. Basically, how many times its annual profit or revenue it's deemed worth based on comparable sales. And then there's the often more complex but pretty robust discounted cash flow analysis, the DCF.
Projecting future cash flows and bringing them back to today's value.
The key takeaway from the sources, you rarely rely on just one method. You triangulate.
Use a combination to get a defensible range? Makes sense. So you've got a preliminary price range, then comes due diligence. This sounds intense. Your sources say leave no stone unturned.
Oh, it is. This is where you dive deep. Financial records, legal docs, operations, customers, HR, everything.
And this is where you might find something that makes you renegotiate or even walk away.
Absolutely. This is the moment of truth, really.
What's like a critical red flag the sources warn about here, something you should never ignore?
That's a great question. Due diligence isn't just ticking boxes, it's investigation. A classic red flag. Maybe an over-reliance on one huge customer. Or finding an undisclosed past legal battle.
Ah, okay. Stuff that wasn't obvious up front.
Exactly. It's about verifying everything the seller told you and, crucially, uncovering those hidden risks or liabilities. This is where your initial assumptions really meet reality.
Okay, so assuming due diligence checks out, you move to structuring the deal. And it's way more than just the price, right?
Oh, much more. It's how you pay. Is it cash, stock, maybe earnouts?
Those are payments based on future performance.
Correct. Tied to how well the acquired company does post-acquisition. Then there are big structural choices. an asset sale versus a stock sale.
Meaning, do you buy just the assets or the whole company entity?
Precisely. And each has huge tax and liability implications. All these details get hammered out in the final purchase agreement. It's complex.
And then what's often surprising, as your sources point out, closing the deal isn't the end.
No, not at all. That's just the starting gun.
For the real work, they say, post-acquisition integration. This is maybe the hardest part.
Arguably, yes. This is where, frankly, a lot of deals that looked great on paper can stumble and fall.
How is that?
Well, your guide really stresses that success hinges almost entirely on how well you merge the two companies. You need a detailed integration plan, ideally before you even close.
Okay, plan ahead. What else?
Clear communication is vital. Proactively blending the different company cultures, that's a big one. And making sure you retain the key talent you just acquired.
Right. You don't want them walking out the door.
Definitely not. The goal isn't just to add the company, it's to create synergy. Make the combined entity stronger, more valuable than the two parts were separately.
And the sources mention failures here.
Oh, yes. Cautionary tales about ignoring culture clashes or finding out too late that the IT systems just won't talk to each other. Integration needs serious focus.
Okay. So wrapping this up, the core message I'm getting from your sources is that acquisition is a calculated leap. It can be truly transformative.
It absolutely can redefine a company's future. But, and it's a big bow, but we've explored, that transformation only works if it's built on, careful planning, rigorous analysis, and flawless execution.
Planning, analysis, execution, the trifecta.
And the ultimate goal, as your sources emphasize again and again, isn't just buying a business, it's buying the right business at the right price.
And then successfully merging it.
Successfully merging it to forge that stronger, more valuable enterprise.
Forging that stronger enterprise really highlights that blend of, big picture strategy and getting the tiny details right. Okay, so after digging into all these layers, what specific part of this whole calculated leap stands out most to you for deeper exploration?